Okay, Assalamu alaikum. I had my podcast done on my articles on Education Watch from the August, but there are some that I haven't been able to. The lady that used to do it's not available anymore. So basically, I'm going to read it to you, the ones that was missed. So the one was posted or published on the 24th of January 2019. It's called Time to End White Domination. Now, I don't choose the topic, the actual heading. The Argus, they place their particular headings on, depending on what their topic is or the theme is for that particular day. But the article is basically mine, okay? So the subheading is that let's open our hearts to true transformation and level the playing fields in the classrooms. The lack of place and opportunities in non-white schools in South Africa and the unequal attention given by the DA to the needs of their children is part of the legacy of apartheid and general colonial subjugation. The subjugation of the masses through various forms of deprivation is a result of white minority fears, quote, that if they do not see to themselves first and deprive the masses, they will soon be overrun, unquote. To ensure their command, they influence police to favor whites and prejudicially apply the strict law to non-whites. This was evident in 1940 when rioting white Stellenbosch University students attacked the colored settlement area and were not arrested, while three colored residents who defended their houses were detained for resisting arrest. It was also evident recently when a white security company violated the council laws by pushing non-whites off a Clifton beach and were not charged by the city. But when the black slaughtered a sheep on the beach, the city laid a charge against the blacks. This kind of misplaced authority tends subordination messages to young minds in schools. I'm going to read that again. Okay. This kind of misplaced authority sends subordination messages to young minds in schools. But that is the strategy. Disorientate the masses, make them fearful through prejudicial application of the laws, and then the few white enfranchised can manipulate resources to their advantage. But that is the strategy. Disorientate the masses, make them fearful through prejudicial application of the laws, and then the few white enfranchised can manipulate resources to their advantage. Colonial deprivation of non-white schools ensures that they will make loans to get into white managed schools that are properly supported by the Western Cape government. This ensures the jobs of the white teaching and administration staff and reduces the teaching potential of non-whites in South Africa. This subtle apartheid is still practiced in the Western Cape. They claim they are waiting for the council to free land for new schools in designated apartheid segregated areas, but large amounts of vacant land is available in traditionally white areas and the city where schools could be constructed. The slogan of the DA voting poster, "We deliver for all," has no truth in it. The DA did not deliver water. Gift of the Givers did. The DA also did not provide adequate places for school children, so who will vote for them? My personal encounter with Education MEC Debbie Schofer concerning the crisis in education 2 years ago confirms Tony Ehrenreich's claim that she shows clear disregard for learners, as evidenced in the closing Uitzig school and the liquor bill for schools. The DA represents the conventional Western capitalistic states in the world that disempower the masses with a lack of resources in education, healthcare, and basic services. These are the vulnerable areas that weaken a people and show states and allow states to continue their control and exploitation. Colonial education is social control. When a state deprives a community of decent resources and then applies the same educational policies, then they practice the most unequal strategy. If we don't become a proactive community, we will find ourselves in depression, taking our frustration out on each other through bullying, family abuse, crime, and drugs. I admire the parents who now teach their own eager, unplaced children in alternative buildings. I offer Mufaleni unplaced children and the overcrowded schools in the Western Cape the new holistic leisure learning paradigm, HLL, with its single textbook for all age learners. It guarantees the parents that the children will be more holistically educated than the children in conventional schools, even those in former Model C schools. HLL places communities in the driving seat of positive change in education and social upliftment. My 28-year research does not only give communities a ready-made solution to the education crisis, but also lays the foundation for many jobs for the youth. If the public says no to a liquor bill for schools, then the public servants must adhere to their wishes. The election must realize that they are not positions to serve their own ends. They must not break the law and be confident the masses don't have the legal muscle to challenge them. So can change happen? Yes. If the Minister of Basic Education can see her folly as expounded in this article, and the masses are prepared to feel confident, then HLL is truly powerful and worthwhile to pursue. Why? Because it is better than any present education system that exists, and it has all the needed resources to take the nation forward. One of the core features of the state officials fear is the loss of their jobs because they think that they will become redundant. Holistic leisure learning calls for no retrenchments, but for reallocation where everyone matters. Currently, subject advisors are spending 90% of their time monitoring 30% of the standardized curriculum. That is a waste of professional teaching skills in administrative work. The director of educational colleges told me that his higher position is nothing but a glorified clerk. This must change. Subject advisors can return to schools with the same salaries and help the shortage of staff for which there is no money. But without the holistic understanding of the underpinnings that retard colonial education, they will not be able to function optimally. The Basic Education Minister did not respond appropriately to BPEC, Business Parent Educational Consulting, when they offered free help to save education 2 years ago. BPEC stopped its attempts because it assessed the attitude of the minister and a spokesperson as non-committal. I am the director of BPEC, but in my personal capacity as a contributor of Education Watch, I invite the minister and her staff to open themselves to advice by the parents and business people who truly care for the children of South Africa, and who this time have in their possession a complete overarching curriculum text, resources in HLM methodology, and facilitators training that will change lives for the positive. The Basic Education Minister can then spend quality time with quality education instead of spending time on putting out fires they themselves set. The beginning of change is opening oneself up to constructive criticism and admitting to the fact that we do not know it all and that we need people's support and reverence to make and reverence to make a positive difference to the lives of children and others. I appeal to media, business and legal professionals to support this offer of HLL Holistic Laser Learning. I am presenting which will actualize the Education Act's preamble, whereas the achievement of democracy in South Africa has consigned to history. The past system of education was based on racial inequalities and segregation, and whereas this country requires a new national system for schools which will redress past injustices in educational provision. In educational provision, provide an education for progressively high quality for all learners, and in so doing lay a strong foundation for development of all people's talents and capabilities, advance the democratic transformation of society, combat racism and sexism, and all other forms of unfair discrimination and intolerance, contribute to the eradication of poverty and the economic well-being of society, protect and advance our diverse cultures and languages, uphold the rights of all learners, parents, and educators. The end of the article. That was published on the 24th of January, 2019. Thank you very much. Shukran. I'll have to do each one separately. Okay, I've forgotten how to stop this. Okay. End the stream. And I suppose it